Okay. Casey in Oregon. How much is enough sharing about our family farm and process for the consumer? I don't like to share, and I worry about molding to the competition and not staying true to myself and our goals and our farm and our process. That's a great question. Thanks for sending that over, Casey. Um, I totally get that, not liking to share, right, and wanting to keep. There's this tension between knowing how effective it is to talk about your family and to show, your lifestyle, right, a farming lifestyle to the public, which is super attractive to the public, which is still, I'm not as surprised by it anymore. Like I get it, but at first it kind of blew my mind when Instagram became like a thing and people were just like freaking out over pictures of cows and like a ranch and just like what? Like what? Um, but I get it now, and I have that tension still because it works. It's an effective strategy to talk about yourself and to show your lifestyle. But at the same time, like I personally, like I'm very, very private. Especially the last few years, I really kind of stepped back from. I don't, or I haven't done as much speaking. I haven't done as like media interviews. I don't do those as much as often. Although I am going to Sundance this next week, and I'll be doing a bunch there. Side note: the one thing I'm really excited about two things I'm pretty excited about is that I got invited to a dinner. Going to a dinner. It's the Discovery Channel dinner, and so it's like the photographers and the athletes for the Discovery Channel, right? That like go do all their shows, like the main. That's just going to be super interesting. So that'll be cool. And then another event with people who I know who they are, but it'll be interesting to talk with them and just get to know them on a personal level and not like with all like the media craze. But will.i.am from, I think he used to be with the Black Eyed Peas, which I do not listen to this music. I wouldn't be ashamed of it if I did. I just don't. But so I'll get to go hang with will.i.am and then Macy Gray. I just got that invitation yesterday. And I think she was like maybe a female rapper back in the 90s. So no big deal if you don't know who they are. But so I haven't been doing a lot of stuff. I've been staying pretty private. I'm stepping back into doing media and stuff like that and like kind of putting myself out there because of the utility, right? Like I see how useful it is for other people, and that was something that only recently became like apparent and really struck me is that, I want to be useful, right? I want to be useful. I want to provide value. And that's really hard to do if you're hiding. And for a couple years, I did a lot of hiding. I didn't want to be out there. I didn't want to be seen. Some of it was like fear of judgment. Some of it was just fear of, just fear of all kinds of different things, right? Fear of failing in public, which is ridiculous because I've never lost a friend, and I've never lost a relationship that I value, or any at all that I can think of, based on a mistake that I've made, or failing at anything, right? Trying something that didn't work, and then going, yeah, that didn't work. I've done a lot of things that didn't work. I haven't done that many things actually that were like bad ideas and the ideas weren't sound and they didn't work in some way. And I think this is probably true for most of you, if not all of you, is like the things that I consider the failures, I consider them failures because I stopped pursuing them, right? I didn't pursue them forever, which I don't think you should, right? If you get into something, you start and you very quickly learn that either A, it wasn't what you thought it would be, B, it doesn't like kind of, when I say fulfill, I mean it doesn't, you don't find joy in it, or it doesn't satisfy your needs, your wants. It's not exciting. It doesn't give you energy. It's not where you want to be spending your time, or maybe you learn more about it as you got through the process, and you're like, where this will take me is not where I want to end up. I didn't know it when I started, but now I know. Now I know that to be true, and so I'm going to stop. There's a lot of things that I've done like that I consider that those were failures, right? And I just don't hold it as a failure. I hold it as anything that I've tried and then either not succeeded at, or failed, or stopped. That's just scaffolding, right? That's just scaffolding for future success. All that is learning. That's literally finding out, well, that's one thing that I didn't know I didn't like, or I didn't know I wasn't good at, or I didn't know people didn't want, that they don't, that I'm not, and that that is not interesting. So, yeah, but as soon as I realized the utility of putting myself out there, of coming out from behind the curtain, right? Then I started doing it more and more, which is why we're here right now and I'm doing these videos and I'm spending a lot more time in public right now. It's because it's so useful. There are so many people who want what you have, whatever that is, whatever you're offering, right? Like, I'm not trying to sell you a product. I'm not trying to sell you a service. I do have services. I have paid products. I have paid services, but I don't talk about them very much, and because they're not for most of you, right? They're only for a small percentage of you. But there is other value that I want to be able to communicate, that I want to offer the world. And if your value is your product, it's your beef that you raise, or if, yeah, the truth of the matter is one of the best ways to communicate that value and to communicate your values and to communicate to your customer that you can provide the benefits that they want is to talk about your farm, is to talk about your family, and to talk about the things that you care about. In our beef companies, we actually didn't talk too much about the health benefits of the beef. We talked a lot about the fact that we were doing this for our families. We talked a lot about so I found the first beef company I started was the Cow Share, and I founded that in December 2014, December 1st, I think, 2014. And then I recruited 3 of my closest friends, and all 4 of us were married and we had kids, have kids. And so the story that we would talk about, right, the value that we held was we were doing this for our families. We couldn't find food that we knew was the best food and the food that we wanted to provide for our families. And so we set out to solve that problem, right, to create a solution. And in doing that, we found that there were a lot of other people who were seeking a similar solution. And that community, that narrative spread. And very quickly, our community grew until we had built this nationwide co-op, right? This beef buying program, right? That was just enormous. We got to 1,000. We surpassed 1,000 within a couple months. 1,000 families buying within a couple months. And so, but it's personal preference at the end of the day. How much you share, that's up to you, right? And it's amazing. You get to decide that. So decide what you're comfortable with, but just know that what you talk about matters, and it is valuable to the people that you're trying to attract and to the people who you've already attracted. The truth of the matter is, you should treat them like, maybe not like family, because I think you want to be direct and always like tell the hard truth to your family, but you want to treat them like your best friends. You want to take care of them. And one way that we do that is by sharing our lives. So I think it's just a smart strategy. You decide how much.